Before there was Max, there was her, the widow Johnson, the real queen of Santa Carla, the one who made the Lost Boys possible, and maybe the one still pulling the strings. Everyone remembers the Lost Boys for its wild neon chaos. Vampires on motorcycles, Santa Carla's boardwalk dripping with blood and rebellion. But hidden beneath all that, there's a story the movies never told you. A story about a woman so old, so powerful, that even Max answered to her. Tonight we pull back the veil on the real ruler of Santa Carla, the widow Johnson, a creature older than the town, older than Max, and far darker than anyone imagined. Before she became the widow Johnson, her name was Isolde von Krostein, a child of privilege, born in 1721, Bavaria. A world of castles, candlelight, and alchemy. Her father, Baron von Krostein, wasn't just a nobleman. He was a man chasing eternity, obsessed with blood rituals and the whispers of ancient texts that spoke of immortality. He believed life could be extended through blood, and that certain blood carried divine rebellion. But when famine hit Bavaria, everything fell apart. Starving mobs stormed their estate. Her family was slaughtered in the streets, ripped apart by the very people they once ruled. And Isolde, broken and bleeding, crawled through the snow, the screams of her family still echoing behind her. That's when it came, a figure that didn't cast a shadow. Skin like marble, eyes like embers beneath ice. It called itself Braham, the first rebel, the first philosopher of blood. He wasn't just a vampire. He was the origin of rebellion itself, one of Cain's first children, the bloodline that defied both God and clan. He spoke to her not as a monster, but as a teacher, a fallen scholar of the Brujah, the ancient clan born in Mesopotamia 4,000 years before her birth. He told her of his kind, vampires who once sought enlightenment but fell to chaos, philosophers turned anarchists, thinkers turned warriors, those who fought against order, against heaven, against even their own kind. And in her despair, Isolde listened. He offered her a contract, not of mercy, but of rebellion, vengeance against the world that had destroyed her, power beyond mortality, fueled by strength, charisma, and speed, the gifts of the Brujah. But he warned her, once she drank his blood, she would never kneel again, not to man, not to God, not even to him. And she said yes. That night, Isolde von Krostein died, and the widow Johnson was born, the first Brujah exile in the New World, a creature of passion, fury, and eternal grief. The Pale One's legacy made flesh, the child of rebellion carrying the blood of Braham himself. She would burn across centuries, philosopher turned predator, carrying the Brujah fire into the heart of Santa Carla. For centuries, she wandered across Europe. Every few decades, a new name, a new husband, a new feeding ground. She'd marry into power, drain it dry, and disappear before anyone noticed the pattern. When she reached America, she hid behind her newest identity, the widow Johnson. To mortals, she was a grieving socialite. To vampires, she was the spider at the center of the web. She ran the Deadlight Club, a blood-soaked bordello buried under the cliffs of Santa Carla, a sanctuary for the undead. Every night, the waves crashed beneath her lair, and the screams of the lost echoed through its tunnels. This wasn't just feeding, this was control. She built her own brood of sirens and vixens, vampires bound by beauty, blood, and hunger. And when Max arrived, she saw potential. He wasn't strong, not yet, but he was loyal, and she needed someone like that. Before Max ever smiled at Lucy Emerson, he belonged to her. The widow turned him, but under one condition. He had to build a family, a patient, obedient vampire clan that would serve as her eyes and ears. Max believed he was in control, but he was just another puppet in her eternal play. While he built his family, she stayed in the shadows, watching Santa Carla decay into the perfect feeding ground. Every carnival, every concert, every missing person, it all fed her plan. And the real kicker, even the Frog Brothers' parents once tried to stop her. They were hunters once, but she got to them first, twisted their minds, buried their memories, left their children, Edgar and Alan, with nothing but instincts. The widow didn't just destroy families, she rewrote them. And in the movie, Grandpa Emerson keeps joking about going to visit the widow Johnson. But that wasn't a joke. It was a confession hiding in plain sight. Because the truth is, she turned him too. Every night he drove out into the dark, it wasn't for errands or late-night fishing. He was hunting her, the one who cursed his blood. The widow wasn't just someone he knew. She was the reason he could never truly die. After the Lost Boys movie ends, Grandpa Emerson leads a raid on her lair. They find her true nest, a cathedral of decay, full of the undead she's created over the centuries. But when they finally face her, she changes. Her face peels, her bones crack, and she reveals her real form, a thing not meant for daylight, part human, part shadow, part something older. Grandpa fights her and dies by her hands. And even as the flames consume her lair, no one ever finds her body, because she doesn't die. She waits. Everyone thought Max was the big bad, the leader of the Lost Boys. But Max was only ever a front, a mask. The true ruler of Santa Carla was the widow Johnson. Every whisper in the boardwalk shadows, every vampire that rose after the 80s, they all trace back to her. Even the so-called new tribes of vampires in later sequels, all connected to the pale bloodline. Her bloodline. Santa Carla wasn't cursed by accident. It was her feeding ground, her design. She was the first spider in the web, and the web is still alive. So maybe the truth isn't that Santa Carla creates monsters. Maybe it calls them back. Maybe every time the lights flicker on that pier, or the wind howls through those caves, it's her, the widow Johnson, remembering the promise she made in the snow over 200 years ago. The promise to never die, and to never stop feeding. Watch the next video to learn how Grandpa Emerson encountered Widow Johnson for the first time.